and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, where it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, Poo Dog.
Hello.
Hi, Poo Dog.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Tortoise.
What is
How are
up?
you today?
I'm good.
Beautiful day, fall day.
It is a nice fall day.
Breaking out the long sleeves.
God, I love this weather.
So nice.
Can't stand that summer heat. It's not that I can't stand the summer heat. I don't really mind it. It's just I can't wear winter clothes.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what bothers me.
Hoodies are so nice.
I don't
I
like
love
summer
it.
clothes.
I've actually went for the shorts and t-shirts today, but normally this time of year
It's incredible.
Is that
You're
a Taylor Swift shirt?
This is a Taylor Yinzer era shirt.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So this is when she played in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
so,
nice.
I had to wear it today.
That's like a perfect shirt for
1989 Taylor's version
you.
comes
Taylor
out tonight.
and Yinzer on a shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How perfect is that?
Couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, 1989 Taylor's version comes out tonight, 9 o'clock.
Can't wait. Add it to my calendar.
Everybody's waiting.
Got some in the vault songs on there. Michelle and I will be listening to that tonight.
You guys like dance? Get up and dance?
We
or
don't know.
You
We
kind of
don't
vibe.
Nah, we just kind of vibe. Yeah, yeah, vibe. Maybe a glass of wine.
You
You
sing.
know.
She's listening to you singing.
Yeah. Well, she's singing as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried this bit's gone too far as well.
It's
not
not
a
a
bit.
bit. It's
I
not.
know. That's-
Unfortunately,
that's
it's not a
why,
bit.
That's
Not
why I'm a little
a bit.
worried it's gone too far.
I met a
You
nice
know.
gentleman from Philadelphia yesterday.
Oh yeah, go Birds.
Go Birds. He had a shirt on. It said, "I'm a Philadelphia fan," and he said he grew up 3 blocks from where Taylor grew up, or he lived 3 blocks from where
I
Taylor grew
went
up.
to middle school with Taylor Swift's cousin,
Okay, yeah.
Jason Swift. He
Really?
used to kick me in the back of the knees.
What an asshole.
I know.
Do you think the people in Philadelphia know that the Dancing on Your Own remix is about a dude lusting over
It is
another
about
dude?
a gay situation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
I mean,
until now.
It's not like they're against gays in Philly.
Well,
It's very city-like.
well.
What do you mean? Well, like
It's
your
called the
Pittsburgh is probably way more homophobic than Philly.
I probably agree.
The gays are just probably more aggressive in Philly.
It's
'cause
called the
everybody's more
city of
aggressive.
brotherly love,
Yeah,
right?
brotherly
Yeah, but no one actually thinks that. They threw batteries at Santa
No,
Claus,
there
man.
is a very. Have you been to Philly? There's a very brotherly love feeling.
What
when you're
there-
going to from like
There's a very
bars and stuff.
there's a very machismo feeling to Philly and Jersey and
Love that.
and Borgata.
Love that. We need more of that.
Yeah, see, oh, here we go.
Like Borgata is its
What
own
happened to all
special
the
country.
Moscow men?
And,
Borgata is its own special
and
country.
Philly and Jersey
Yeah.
and Borgata.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Borgata, the state.
Borgata is the confluence of this like tri-state area
You know what?
that just brings all the Wooded people out.
You know what? I want
Yeah.
to see you point it out on a map.
Yeah, the Borgata state.
I'll find the Borgata on the map. God
What's the
damn
capital of Borgata?
It's one Atlantic City way.
Atlantic City is like pretty run down.
That's putting it politely.
I was there
man almost
last
got killed in
January.
Atlantic City.
You get more Guidos in Atlantic City than in Philly, though. Like it's you
Yeah,
get a
what's
little more
it's
Guido
in-
blend.
Wait, in Atlantic City over Philly?
No,
Yeah.
that's
Come on,
incorrect.
yes.
That's
Because you-
incorrect.
Philly is
in
not
Jersey.
a Guido place,
Right.
Atlantic City's not actually. I mean,
It's like,
I hate
it's just
Jersey.
it's like
but it's
furry
not exactly
guys who don't wash their
representative of
ass. It's not
Jersey.
like
I will agree
Guidos.
with Berkey.
No, but the people that represent Jersey come to Atlantic City to gamble.
Atlantic City's like the Project 6 of New Jersey.
Guys, nobody goes to Atlantic City. Let's just put that out there.
My friends and I used to go when we were younger.
Yep, that was when we
I
were
go in
younger.
AC.
We used to go there like 2008, 9, 10.
LeMan
and
almost got us killed
the
in a hooker
amount-
motel.
The
Oh,
amount
no.
of Ed Hardy shirts
Yeah.
that were literally everybody had one on except me.
Well,
Everyone
that
was
was when Jersey
GTLing.
Shore was like
Yeah.
a thing too.
Berkey was an Ed Hardy man.
I was
Loved it.
not.
I
I
believe
never had an Ed
that.
Hardy shirt.
Oh, come on.
He definitely had something
You had those
bedazzled.
graphic tees.
I had one affliction shirt.
one. You wore it every day then.
No.
Oh,
that's
no.
Absolutely a lie.
I had all
With the hat, the matching hat, he used to go to play.
Yeah,
I
I had a bunch of trucker hats.
Yeah.
For sure.
got one on now.
Yeah. Well, it's a pirate hat.
Hey,
I
go
actually
Bucks.
loved that Hardy.
Let's go
shirts.
Bucks. You would.
Yeah, I mean it worked out my
Probably
style.
had rhinestone jeans.
No, I didn't do rhinestone.
You were rhinestone
jeans.
cowboy.
He did go to prom in a white suit, so
Well, he was paid.
Mhm.
right.
He was.
That hat,
he
though.
was an escort.
Yeah, but he
That's true.
dressed up.
As an escort.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I was a good-looking escort.
I miss gigolos.
The show.
You used to
Or
experience them a lot.
the
It
show.
was
or-
so good.
or
It was on
Tuesday
HBO or Showtime.
I thought that was a
can't
movie.
remember.
I used
Deuce
to.
Bigelow, European Gigolo.
Oh yeah, that's that one.
I used to hook up with a girl who hooked up with one of the gigolos.
I don't even know
Man,
what that is.
wanna get
so it might
tested
have
I
been-
was gonna say, get yourself checked, Berk.
I
God,
think.
we're
I think
so
it was
awful.
after me, but either way.
We're so awful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lamana almost got us killed in AC. He got us in some $30 a night hooker motel.
Times were tough back then, man. they weren't giving away rooms
Was
at
it
the
like paid
Borgata.
by the hour?
It was like one bed, and you could put quarters in it to make it vibrate.
Wow.
What? I could never stay in one of these places.
That's when Berkey fell in love
Yeah,
with me.
you took a sleeping bag to Big Bear. That was like a nice house, and he wouldn't sleep on the sheets. He like sleeps in a sleeping bag on the bed.
There was zero. I would rather sleep in the car than sleep in one of these places.
I would too.
100%. It's
Yeah.
not even close. I don't think I've ever slept in like one of these
Hey.
rundown motels at AC.
We survived and we're richer for it.
Sure.
AC wasn't as
Very
run
true.
down back then. Maybe it was,
It's always
but
been run
but now
down.
it's like a
Place
ghost town.
smells like a
kinda.
queef when you fucking drive in.
Well, it's the bay. It's low tide in the bay. It's stinky. You always, yeah, it
It
smells
would literally
like fart.
you would cross the Walt Whitman Bridge and then you just start you could get that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
literally
bay.
smells like honey
When
doo.
you when you
It
drive
smells
to the
like
bay.
honey doo doo had a
It
fucking
doesn't smell
queef.
good at all. It's really
Honey
bad.
doo-doo.
It's a very bad smell.
Honey boo boo.
Honey doo doo.
Honey boo boo smells like honey.
queef. Yeah, that's a
All
bad
right.
smell. Only on low tide though.
Yeah, great. Only half the day. Fantastic. That should set the tone for today pretty well. We got something a little bit different. We're gonna do a little bit of a Throwback Thursday. We've done this a couple times in the past. Today we are gonna be highlighting the NAPT tour that PokerStars is now bringing back. We're gonna have it here in Vegas first week in November. But before we get to that, Lamana seems to be in the muck.
Oh boy.
He found actually Guapo's in the muck, but he refused to put his hand history up there.
That's how deep in the muck he is.
It's quite embarrassing.
That's how deep in the he's neck deep in the muck. So Lamana became the sacrifice. Walk us through it.
Here we are.
Yins
Now-
know.
now
Down
listen.
at South Point.
Now listen, all right, you're starting off great. I want you to tell the backstory, but once you get to the hand,
Yes.
just give me the goddamn mechanics of the hand. All right, let's go.
I'm very good at that.
Let's go.
I'm down at South Point, right? You know,
Down at
the
South.
jewel of the
That's
South.
point.
It's glistening as always. You know, mucking around. And playing some 1-2. Got actually a friend of the show, or a fan of the show, Todd. Actually, I met two Todds that are friends of the show.
Okay, hey,
All right?
Todd.
I mean, shout out to the Todds.
Todd and Todd.
Right, Todd and Todd. Yep. And one of the Todds is there. You know, he plays decent. Like you can tell he's, you know, doesn't limp a lot, which is good. He's second under the gun. He opens the 10. Guy next to him calls the 10. Folds to me in the cutoff. I elect the 3-bet to 40. Folds back around to Todd, who makes it, or calls, and the other seat 9 calls. And the flop comes 6-6 deuce. So 123 in the pot. We're 3 ways. Check to me. I bet 45. Todd calls. Turn, or I'm sorry. And see the second caller, the second flatter, goes all in for 110.
We hate this.
Yeah, we hate this. So I elect to call, and Todd my surprise, folds. Well, I mean, not to my surprise. I thought maybe he could fold, but so he folds, and the board runs out 8-8, and
We win.
seat 9. Nope, shows me
Sevens.
2 10s.
Okay.
Now Todd said he folded jacks.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Todd.
this hand, I don't know. Like I feel like I've just been in like situations like this a lot lately, where it's just I have a really good hand, ace king. I get in a situation where I put in a 3-bet, I get some calls, we're missing flops, but I feel like I have a lot of equity, maybe fold equity, and I don't win the hand. So I think my main mistake was in this hand, and this is just me thinking about it like afterwards. I think I played the hand correctly outside of bet sizings. So I'm not sure about my bets. I chose a little bit bigger than third pot on the flop. Maybe I can go smaller. Maybe I can go bigger. I don't know.
It's like
And then I
effective
think
SPR.
when it goes call and shove, I think I should be shoving to make Todd's 9s, 10s, jacks indifferent. So yeah, I'm not really sure. It's just I don't think I can fold my hand at any point, as there's so much money in the pot and I'm getting laid a ridiculous price. So yeah. What do you think, Guapo? How do you play? You're down there playing these hands. What do you do anything different?
When you said you made it 40 pre-flop,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could have gone
Bigger?
Yeah. Maybe $50.
Yeah.
When this short
Playing
stack,
1-2, yeah.
Playing 1-2.
Can you just jam?
I mean,
When
I
the
could
short
just
stack-
jam. I think jamming is not like the worst thing ever.
I mean, you're getting to
You can
to
just-
flop with
yeah.
less than 1 SPR
Yeah.
effective.
Right. And I mean, there's 20, 10, 11 and a half blinds.
How bad can you
Dead.
be?
Yeah. And you have ace king. So, I
You're
mean,
in position. Let's
but
not.
that's the thing.
too
If I was
hasty
out
here.
of position, I think jamming is way better. But being in position with ace king, like, I think it's completely fine.
Can you
Right.
jam flop? Well, not
Just-
jam. Can you go 110 flop?
So
Put the
just bet 110. Yeah. I mean,
because then if you bet 45, well, you just have to call.
yeah, I mean,
like-
I guess you got to think. What does my whole range want to do? What does 9s, 10s, jacks, ace queen with a backdoor, ace king with a backdoor? What do these hands want to do?
yeah.
And I mean,
In
I don't know.
In these spots pre-flop, I normally find myself trying to use a size where the guy with 110 or whatever can't just call.
Right.
Like he has to jam.
Yeah, well, I
That's
did.
a mistake.
Yeah,
I mean, it probably is.
I
yeah.
mean, I think
I think that's a mistake.
I feel like my sizing is bad. I feel like I should either go smaller, like 10%, or like 20 max, like like $20, or go bigger.
So
I was talking about pre.
yeah, I know. what
Oh,
you're
pre.
talking about.
Oh, pre.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
because there's 23 in the middle, right?
123 in the middle.
No, there's
No, we're talking
23
about pre-flop.
pre-flop.
Pre-flop, there's 23. Yeah,
I feel like 40 is too small, but I could be wrong.
it's
way too big.
It's way
It's
too big.
I mean, if you want to have
4X
if you actually want to have a range here that can function, when somebody opens large, do you think you 3-bet larger or smaller?
Well, to be fair,
I guess
large.
you 3-bet smaller.
I mean, this
yeah.
is pretty standard.
This is
open.
not large.
Okay, fine, but
This
it's mechanically large.
It's mechanically large. It's the standard open in the game. Right.
Right. If somebody c-bets always for half pot, it's still functionally half pot.
Right. No, you're right. Yeah. So like, I guess maybe that is the mistake. I mean, like if
Well,
it's,
do you ever have a 6 here?
do I ever have a 6 here? No, I do not. I guess.
Right, that's a function of your sizing pre.
Yeah, because if I make it that big, then I'm never like 3-betting like 6, 7.
You should be rather linear in your 3-bet squeeze here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way to have that function, they open to 10.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think the way to have that function is like you squeeze to like 25. Otherwise, you have no post-flop playability, or you have less post-flop playability. Now,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong. You can just have a strategy where you're only 3-betting value.
Yeah.
And now 40 is fine. And I don't think bigger.
What if there's no caller in between? If there's no caller in between, I'm making it like 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's the caller in between matter?
Well, they're just incentivized to come along, right?
Yeah. I don't know, like just the way I think about poker is if there's more, like if you're squeezing, your 3-bet size is always bigger. That's not
when you're in position. I mean, it doesn't have to be anyway. Not magnitudes larger anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when
with effective stacks are shorter.
When the guy in between only has 50 big blinds, you can't. I mean, you can, but now you have to have a hand that can go with it.
Yeah.
Or you want to be able to have 3-bet folds. If you make it 40 and he jams for 110, you don't have any folds there.
Yeah.
Right?
The guy in between is 75. I don't know if that makes a difference. But
Had 75 what?
big blinds.
So both under 100.
He had 130 or $130, right?
150.
Oh, 150. Right, you made 140. Yeah, okay, so, you could make it 40 and fold, I guess, to a back jam. Anyway.
Really quick question.
Yeah.
What 6 do you possess when you're squeezing?
7-6 suited.
6-7 suited.
6-5 suited, like
suited.
likes a squeeze.
I just,
Ace-6 suited.
I feel
Nice.
like
King
Squeeze.
6 suited. Nah, King 6 is aggressive.
Yeah.
Even
You're
Ace 6
feeling
is
it.
aggressive, right?
Not really.
6-5 like
Wait,
squeezing.
Under the gun or
King 6 suited is GTO Kings.
Well, that'd be more like what you squeezed out of the big blind, I think.
Yeah.
UTG1 and MP. It seems a little
Yeah.
Little
but I
out
mean,
there.
the charts that I have, the
Little
charts that I
loose.
study, like, I just don't have those. Like, if somebody's opening under the gun, like, I'm never ISOing with any 6.
Really?
No,
No
not from
7,
not
6,
from
no
the
5, 6?
cutoff. No, not from the cutoff.
Oh.
But these are 6 max charts. Maybe it's different in live.
They might not be
full ring.
high rate games.
But
You
I
should be 3-betting
I
more
do not
often.
possess a 6 where I'm squeezing.
You
I mean,
then
you
you just
you
don't have
shouldn't-
a 6 at all. Like
yeah,
you probably
you shouldn't have it a lot.
But also,
Yeah.
like
You should
live,
have
you're
it
gonna
small.
get more like flats and multi-way bullshit that you won't get in like your 6 max online games. So
Yeah.
like you're gonna want to have some more squeezes in there.
You're able to just like realize your hand kind of when you're playing live.
So in this hand is my biggest mistake is preflop. I mean, because I'm sure there's mistakes on the flop as well.
No, I think you're correct. It's your sizings.
Right.
I mean, the big thing the reason why I deviated the preflop is because you should expect this to go multi-way. You shouldn't expect it to go call fold or fold call or anything like that, which means that you want to set up a SPR that you can manage. And more importantly, understand that whenever you go multi-way post, all of your sizings are going to decrease. So like if you're range betting 6-6 deuce or 6-6-3, whatever it was,
I feel like
which
I
you
want to
probably
go
should.
like B10 or 110.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think 110. I think 110 would be like a cop out. The board's too dry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Mhm.
Just B10 and call it off.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're
like bet $15 or less. There's
yeah,
120 in it.
yeah, I bet like
$15.
$15.
Yeah.
I would just like bet $15
Yeah,
and then figure out.
Because otherwise you're in this awkward like you get clicked for a jam and you have to call like it's
Right.
just awkward.
But am I doing that with a specific hand or am I doing that with like range?
Range.
Yeah.
You would range bet this board.
Yeah.
So if I have jacks, I just bet 15.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you
Yeah.
need like more protection?
Yeah,
No.
that's
No.
what I would feel like anyway.
No.
From
What, an
overcards?
ace?
Like if I have 9s, I'm betting 15.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, you could operate a 2 sizing strategy here, but it's a little bit
what would be
wonky.
your second sizing?
like B75 or whatever 2E is.
But it seems weird when
You can just 2E and 3.
the SPR
Yeah.
is so fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you can just 2E and 3. The problem is figuring out what E is because you have
It's
2 different
small,
effective.
right?
Well, you have 2
Yeah.
different effective stacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Question: Do you want to bet an amount where you can reopen the action here? So like, say if it goes call jam.
Okay.
Do you want to bet an amount so like 55 here instead of like
No.
75%?
No, that's effectively what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're saying that's wrong.
It's just awkward.
Yeah. You don't want to have to. Like, I would want to fold here, not shove.
Maybe if you were super
You're against
deep,
pair.
you could go like
They both have
half.
pocket pairs.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
I know,
to
there's just so much
shove.
money
I'm just
in there.
saying to give the illusion of being able to reopen action.
But it doesn't because you have to call. Like you're getting. It's like
Yeah. I don't
when they jam,
understand.
it's like a mini click. So you just have to call.
I mean, I considered folding. It just felt really bad with the amount of money that's in the pot.
Well, you're supposed to spike an ace.
I know.
King,
that's
so.
the
failed.
real
That was
tragedy of
your
this hand. Is
blunder.
Right.
All right, Guapo.
Run
I
back.
have 200 big blind live cash ranges
But
with
he's not
10% rake.
200 big blinds deep, right?
No, but I mean,
He just. Are you talking about the
That's right.
squeezes with the six?
Close enough. Started
Yeah,
with
it's close.
350.
What did you start with?
I had over 200 big blinds, but
Well, no. What's the effective stack?
the under the gun head,
350.
the under the gun has
350 to start the hand. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. 175.
175. Okay.
okay. So,
There's a rake environment.
yeah, 10% rake. 6-5 suited in the cutoff versus under the gun 1, under the gun 2 would squeeze.
Can I guess?
Good.
I'm gonna say less than 15%.
You're wrong.
Or at least
Wrong.
at least 30.
Wrong.
31%, and then
Yeah.
it calls 43, folds 25.
So
Five,
it's squeezing 30%.
5,
And I'm
4
assuming
suited.
when the effective stack is around 100 big blinds, it's like almost never there. I don't want you to run it again, but I would assume that it's
Tough to
almost
say,
never there.
but no, it's going to be there. I was right. King 6 is in here.
It is.
King 6 gets in 15%.
King six gets spicy.
What about
ace
Silver
six?
loves king six.
Ace 6
like
does
the
not.
new ace
Yeah.
five.
Ace 8 does.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a very linear squeezing range. It's all pairs down to 7s. It's most suited kings down
6-5.
to 6-5 is like a third of the time. 7-6 is like a quarter of the time. 8-7 a quarter of the time. No other suited connectors. Then king 6, king 5 about 15%.
King five is.
Ace 4, ace 5, ace 8, ace 10 suited, and then ace queen plus.
Now,
And
do
ace
you-
king off.
Can you just take this at face value, or do you just like think about the environment that you're in and knowing that they're not their opening ranges are not what that chart says, so their opening ranges are much tighter?
I don't think they are.
I
think
100% will tell you that
That's
they
be-
are.
that's because-
really loose opens.
yeah,
without
you just
win.
base it off of what comes or shows up at showdown. You forget all the times that they open 8-6
I
suited.
mean, I was seeing them flat with 5-3 off. I was seeing them open with king
no.
6 off.
No,
like,
they just
early
limp those
position.
hands. They just limp those hands. Like I'm talking about, like the vast majority. Obviously, there are outliers and people will open that, but
I mean, that was
they're
like
rare and
everyone
few in
was
between.
being loose.
I
when
think
was
it like
playing there.
I think it like
the
once
environment is loose.
if you go like I
Not
think
tight.
there's a big difference between how they open in like a 1-2 game compared to a 2-5 game. They're like in the 2-5 game, there's less limping. There's a lot of loose openings. Where in the 1-2 game, it's just limp fest everywhere. So it's just limping
Well,
nonstop.
whether that's true or not, and
no
I
one's-
would argue it's probably not consistent. Whether that's true or not, they don't 4-bet enough, so it doesn't matter,
That is true too.
right? So
Right.
it's just like the under the gun 2 guy is just going to have
Just
a
gonna
bunch of
realize a lot.
bullshit in his flatting range, and then he's
Yeah.
also going to have hands like 10s
Yeah.
that just don't know to get it in pre.
Yeah, they call like they'll call 3-bets with like queen jack off and stuff. Like they'll call 3-bets incorrectly.
Right.
So like
Yeah, so I think the solution to this spot is squeeze more frequently to a slightly smaller size, and then
When
I
you're
like-
in
I like that.
position.
I like
Yes.
finding reasons to 3-bet or to squeeze.
Of course.
Right, of course. So you have to do it smaller if you want to do it with.
yeah.
More
So
hands.
I think 25, 28, something like that is much better here. Now we get an SPR of like 1.5 post, and you want to lean on like B20. Or basically you just like want to force the shorter stack to make a decision for his hand, and you don't need to worry that much about protection because it's a multi-way environment. Like you're still leveraging those stacks against each other. You aren't necessarily playing a big pot yet, right? So when clean cards come on the turn, you get to polarize. Whenever bricks come on the turn, your range is going to have to split, and you're going to have to play accordingly. What you want to make sure you don't do is just get in the habit of B20ing, getting called in 2 spots, and then just like always shutting down over cards.
Right.
Like ace king becomes a nice check back, but king queen becomes a nice triple off. And you have to be able to understand that nuance.
Because you block the kings and the queens and
yeah,
you
or
can
like king
represent those
jack
hands.
would be a good triple
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because you block the jacks, which
You block the jacks, which
You
is
get
going to
ace high
be
to
some of the
fold.
most common. You get ace high to fold. Your king
Right.
is going to be live.
Yeah. So like in this scenario, say I did make it 25 and it goes call. Now there's 75 in the pot, 78 in the pot, and it goes check to me. Now I bet $10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I bet 10 and it goes call, shove. Now I just fold.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you
You're so happy to fold.
Right,
not
right. It just makes
priced
it
in
so
to
much
call.
easier to like your hand just plays so much easier. Where I'm in this situation and I bloated the pot and the SPR is low. Now I feel like I can't fold even though maybe I should.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Right, it can't.
You should have reshoved.
I should have reshoved for sure. Yes,
Right.
yes.
It's
I
a
agree
simple
with that.
spot where it's like,
You're just priced in because you just price yourself in.
yeah, their hands are face up. You
Yeah.
know what they have. You don't care because you have ace king and there's
Right.
money in the pot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these are like annoying pain points for people who are playing small stakes.
It's just like the SPR. Like it gets awkward.
Yeah, SPRs are awkward, especially because it's often multi-way, and your opponents are playing very face up.
Yeah.
So you train yourself to like bet to find out where you're at, and then fold.
Right.
Yeah. In like especially like the 1-2 environment, it's almost like a tournament in a way where you have so many varying stacks, right? You have guys that
You got
have
short
200,
stacks.
300 big blinds, all the way down to people that are sitting there with,
Like 30
50,
blinds.
30
yeah.
blinds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like,
It's
you
good
navigate-
though. It's
Oh, I'm
honestly
not saying it's bad.
No, but people don't understand. It's like for those reasons, it's one of the best training grounds because it forces you to be hyper aware of like the actual principles that matter: SPR, position,
Yeah.
ranges,
Right.
range advantage.
Yeah.
all these things that we teach you over at Selbst.io.
That's right.
You can check this all out in the Mid Stakes Bible if you'd like a
I'm
little
coming
bit
off
more
a course
advice.
on skincare and fragrances and how to riz your woman.
Right. If you want to riz
New
a
lifestyle section on Selbst4Y.io. How to riz your woman.
fellow 1-2 player,
Yep.
Melissa's
How to bring
got
your
you.
riz to the 1-2 table without getting a restraining order.
That'll be at the next Academy, January
Yep.
15th to the 17th. If you guys want to see to that, it's academy.selbst4y.io. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a very underlying pain point for people who are in the muck, and it's why they're often in the muck. It's also why that environment tends to say like, "Oh, you don't know my games, man.
Right.
You're not there. You don't understand." It's like, no, I do understand. You're just making a lot of catastrophic errors.
It's the same thing happens with online. Like you'll see, I remember like in like Ben CB's chat, and they're like, "You couldn't beat 10NL. Like you don't understand how
Right.
this game works." And then he'll just like pull up like 2 cent, 4 cent while he's like final tabling a 25K and
Yeah.
just like smashing everybody.
Yeah, because it's like polarizing strategies will work everywhere. And the issue is that you don't develop them when you're constantly playing in a multi-way environment because polarization is kind of defined differently. In this particular instance, you basically polarized and then failed to capitalize on it, right? So you essentially polarized by betting third pot because that bet is magnitudes larger than it appears due to the shorter stack that's involved.
Right.
You're basically committing yourself to the shorter stack.
Yeah.
He then jams, and instead of like following through and shoving yourself, you like trap, right? Because like now what happens whenever your buddy here realizes that jacks are just good here enough, and he rejams.
Right.
Now you're throwing good money after bad. You have no choice.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And actually, you might be able to fold if he reshoves for 265 more,
Probably
but it's a
should.
way tougher decision than you should ever be put into.
Yeah. Right. If I just shove there, like he's.
I mean, yeah,
if-
you would have to fold.
Right.
You're getting like 2.5 to 1.
Right.
It's just not a good enough price. Especially he could occasionally be trapping here with deuces or sixes, and then just like decide, or not sixes, but A6,
A6,
and
yeah.
then just try to like back jam. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, understanding polarization will absolutely destroy any environment. If you want to throw me into a 9-handed 2 cent, 4 cent game right now, I will literally only choose geo sizings and I'll bust the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Because all you have to have is some level of range construction. Be linear in spots where they think that you're polarized, which would be squeezing multi-way, right? You have to have coverage. Show up with a 6 here sometimes. Show up with enough pairs and enough overcards that you're doing fine. And then just be capable of sizing in a way where you threaten all in.
Right.
That's really what the game distills down to at its top level. Everything else becomes nuance, right? You start to get a lot better at board textures. You start to get better at formations and range constructions and, sizings and all this other stuff that matters a ton when you're trying to add layers to your game and become the best in your
It's funny
pool.
because I feel like people often learn the opposite way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct. And not to go on a big tangent here, but that was the total impetus for us starting Selbst4Y. Is start at top level strategy. Like, come with a root cause and figure out why that problem exists and then try to solve that rather than when we first started our training site, it was like right at the precipice of Solver being introduced to the public forum. So everybody was like, oh my God, check out this new blind versus blind spot. And like they're just digging into the nuance. It's like, bro, you don't know how to fucking open
like
yet.
In the weeds.
Yeah. It's like you don't know what it means to be in or out of position yet. Like, what do we give a shit about a 57% range versus a 68% range battling against one another? You know what I mean? Like you're just never going to get there that way. Starting at like the most micro level and trying to work yourself up to top level, it's a recipe for failure. But it's endless content if you're a coaching site.
That's true.
If you just go micro first, they never leave the training
How to play
loop.
king high boards.
Right. They just never leave you.
Yeah.
You know, because they never become self-sustaining. That's, you know, that's its own thing. If you find yourself in the muck, head on over to our Discord page. You can hit hashtag Discord in the chat, or head over to our Twitter page at onlyfriends_pod. It's the pinned comment. You can get the link there. Also want to give you guys a reminder that every other Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following, one of our students, Chi, he runs a study group. It's free for anybody who wants to be involved. All you have to do is sign up to the Discord. So be sure to take advantage of that. All right, let's throw it back a little bit. Let's
Do a little throwback.
Let's take a little trip down memory lane.
It won't be memory for me. I stopped at 8, okay?
Oh, man. So many people out there with their fetishes. Okay, so we want to do Throwback Thursday. I want to do these more often. I enjoy these.
Every Thursday.
They spurn good memories for me. I actually
watching young Jason was like, oh my God. Like,
I forgot. I wanted to find a picture I have of me standing next to a cardboard cutout of Jason, but I didn't in time. I totally forgot about it.
Oh, man.
But it was from the NAPT tour. So today we're going to throw it back. We're going to remind you guys a little bit of what the NAPT was, and what it hopefully will become again. This tour basically... All right, so to give you guys a bit of, I guess, context to what was going on back then, poker was like really hitting its apex at 2008-ish, I would say, like right around the Jamie Gold era. When he won the main event for 10 million, it was just like, okay, the floodgates are open. Or yeah, 12 million.
Well, in 2006, yeah.
So he won it for like 12 million, and it was just like, okay, the floodgates are open. This thing is absolutely out of control. And then we started to see some younger kids start to make their way. So prior to Jamie Gold, the World Series was heavily dominated by 30-somethings.
The old guard.
Yeah, that had kind of become the TV pros as we moved into the 2010s, right? Post Jamie, we started to see some younger guys make their way through. Peter Eastgate in 2008, I believe. Joe Cata in 2009. So at the forefront of all this was Stars and Tilt. And back then, if you went deep in the main event at all, and when I say deep, I mean like day 5+, you were patched immediately.
As soon as you got on a feature table.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, when I went deep in 2010, I walked in the room on day 4. So we were like well in the money at this point, probably like, I don't know, 300 people left, something along those lines. And walking in the door, there were 2 women standing at the door front. One holding Stars patches and one holding Full Tilt patches.
Wow.
And they were literally just like, what table are you on? How many chips do you have? And you would tell them, and they'd be like, you're a Full Tilt guy. And they would just like hand you this thing.
Just randomly, or they kind of profiled you?
They kind of profiled you. They had like an idea, I guess,
So
of
what
like...
was like the brand personalities?
The younger somebody was, the more probable they were to be signed by Stars,
Okay.
I think. Or the more already known, the more likely they were to be signed by Stars.
Gotcha.
And then Full Tilt was just like sweeping the floor.
Okay.
With anybody who, like, you had a high
between.
chip count and nobody knew who you were, Full Tilt was going to patch you.
Okay.
The deals were a little bit different.
How much did you get?
You got 10,000 minimum, I feel like.
Yeah, I got you get 10K for, I think you got 10K for getting patched up. No. It was
being on a feature table.
So
it was the table. So you got 5 or 10K for being on a side feature, and then either 10 or 20K for being on a main feature.
It was like if you got picked for being on a featured table, it was like pulling a slot machine for $10,000.
Yeah.
That's
And we're
so
just like,
sick.
please let me get on a feature table because they're just gonna give me.
But you also got
five
something.
figures.
You also got something out of the gate just for like wearing a patch. It wasn't anything big, but you got something, because I remember I was patched the day prior to actually being on a feature. But going into day 7, I started on the side feature with Mizraki, and I got
The
like
grinder.
I got like 10,000 for that. Then I got moved to the main feature,
Wow.
where I ultimately busted.
You're cleaning up.
I ended up getting 50,000
Wow.
in just sponsorship. The stars deals were a little bit better though, and it was based off of the final table. Like basically, you got an escalating payout
to $1 million,
for full
I
tilt.
There's Selbst and Chrissy, now Moreno.
That's right. She was on the grind back then. So like when you made the final table, it was like an escalating payout, and I think stars didn't do that. I think like if you just made the final table, like everybody just got like $1 million.
What?
Just an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Now you get offered like 40K for being at the final table.
I don't even know if you get
It
that.
was insane. So I'd played the main event like every year since like 2006, and just never got on the feature table. Always wanted to get on, right? So finally, I think it was 2012 when I made semi deep run, and I finally got to the feature table. Though this is post Black Friday.
Can we find this
And
footage?
I think
and
it's out there
review it?
somewhere. And I got offered $100 to wear somebody's t-shirt.
What?
That was it. Like I was like, I might get something. I don't know. Someone's like, I'll give you $100 to wear this t-shirt. I had my Leroy Towns shirt on. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
I'm not snubbing Leroy Towns for $100.
Yeah, I think in 2018 maybe I chip led from like, or I was like one of the top chip counts from like day 1 through day 3. Maybe even further. Anyway, I had like 3 days on one of the side features, and then the same thing happened the year following whenever I was at Chance and Jason's table back-to-back days. And I think 888 offered me like 5K to wear a patch. I was just like, no.
The money's just not the same.
It's just dry, yeah. But anyway, fast forward to I said all that to set up like where the direction was moving. And it was very much moving into the youth. So by 2010, the online landscape had gotten very young, and a lot of uprising stars have come out of it. Jason Mercier being one of them, Vanessa Selbst, and a lot of them were getting picked up very quickly by stars. Now, the other side of that was like Full Tilt was signing basically anybody who would win a major that wasn't already with stars. So like Lucky Chewy was a Red Pro, Jonathan Little, Ryan Doubt, a handful of others. But they were like more of the grinders, so to speak, where stars really, because Full Tilt was like made by the pros for the pros type of thing. So they already had a pretty star-studded list of.
And they had like the t-shirts like I knocked out a Red Pro.
And they had like a lot. They had a nice lineup of like TV pros.
Okay.
Stars already had that as well with like Daniel and Barry Greenstein and a handful of others.
Madisau.
Right, but rather than like trying to compete against the then Antoniuses and Dwans and the guys that were playing nosebleeds over there, they just fully went the tournament route, and they found upcoming stars like Vanessa,
Seems like a
Jason.
good strat.
It was so well done, and they turned them into fucking stars. Like Vanessa and Jason became household names, not overnight, but like in very short order. Where like a lot of the guys who were the same age bracket from the Full Tilt side outside of Durr were just Red Pros.
Right.
They were all just like labeled Red Pros. And that's not to slight them. It's not to say that like Jonathan
There
didn't
was
do
just
anything.
so many of them.
Yeah, there were so many of them. Like Full Tilt would literally make anybody a Red Pro. That's an exaggeration. I don't want to diminish what they accomplished. I wasn't a Red Pro. A lot of people weren't.
Why weren't you a Red Pro?
I had no shot.
They never invited you?
No. I remember I chopped the Full Tilt Sunday Major on Super Bowl Sunday in 2010, and I was like, oh man, maybe this is my big break.
It's time.
And I was like, I'm never playing online again.
Oh man.
But yeah, stars like really sunk a lot into MTTs. They saw the forest for the trees, if you will, or through the trees. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And they went this route, and with it came the NAPT. So they already launched EPT, which was doing incredibly well.
Very well.
It's actually where Jason got most of his start. I believe
it was his first big win.
Partouche was maybe one, and Monte Carlo was another.
Can't forget Annette Oberstad.
correct.
Youngest
bracelet winner of all time. So the EPT was like flourishing, and it had led to PCA. Well, in 2010, they decided like to rebrand to the North American Poker Tour and bring a lot more to the States, because at that time it was just WSOP Summer and WPT, nothing else. So 2010, there was like no mid-stakes poker
like
tour.
How it is. Well, I mean, I guess not how it is now, because there is MSPT.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
Those are
like,
the main
circuits,
WPT and WSOP.
Yeah, but now there's circuits.
Right.
Now there's primes.
Now there's bracelets
there's all
online throughout the whole year.
There's so many derivatives of even just those tours.
Yeah.
Let alone the other mid-stake tours and everything else. So they kind of came in and they saw a soft spot in the market, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to rebrand. PCA is going to become NAPT, and then we're going to do a handful of events across the United States. So January 2010, they rolled out their first event at PCA Bahamas. It was a $10,000 300 event, which was what the main event always was. 1,500 entrants, and Harrison Gimbel won it for $2.2 million. So I think that's one of the biggest PCAs of all time.
What year was
1,500
that?
entries.
That's a lot. 2010.
Okay.
So for those who don't know Harrison, which you should, because he's been a killer pretty much since then. He was 19 years old. Pretty impressive. I think his only live cash prior to that was like in Florida, because they were 18 and over. His name online was Gibbler321, and he beat Tyler Raymond heads up, whose name online was Puffin' My Perp. And the no shock, like the reason I know Tyler specifically is because of Brent. Brent was friends with fucking everybody. Man.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's a very personable guy.
If you played an online MTT, Brent knew you.
By the way, adjusted for inflation, that 2.2 is 3.1 million.
Wow, that's a quick adjustment.
Just did a calculator.
Respect. Respect to the calculation.
I was curious.
So yeah, and at the time Tyler was very young too, so he might even been under 21. Like imagine instead of going to Turning Stone to play $100 buy-ins like we were, you just fucking fly to the Bahamas, play a 10K, rip it off for a couple million.
You guys were staying in $30 night motels in the Borgata. Unbelievable.
Down bad.
The thing was though, like back then, that was kind of the dream, right? Like
grinding.
Yeah, you just grind. Well, not the $30 night hotels, but
dream.
But no, like chasing those scores, because there was nothing solidified outside of like the WPTs. The WPTs were won by Antonio and Daniel, and maybe less Daniel. I don't know if he has a WPT. No, he does. He does. He has a couple.
Yeah.
But you know, they were won by the TV stars. They even had like TV invitationals where they had like 6-handed sit and goes with like Gus and Phil Locke. Like, you know, they really promoted.
They were the stars.
Yeah, they really promoted those
celebrity
guys.
worship was also like a thing.
Peak. It was peak high, right?
I was in Brittany and Christina.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
I loved Christina.
Me too.
Brittany, not
She's
so
from Pittsburgh.
much.
I was a Brittany girl.
Never mind, I hate her.
Yeah, never mind.
She went to high school in Pittsburgh.
Yins.
Wexford. Shout out to Wexford.
Shout out to Wexford. So yeah, like we had this vision where it was just like, well, I could show up at any tournament stop at any given time, and if I find myself with a buy-in, I might just win this fucking thing.
And then you can spiral that into who knows.
You're Jason Mercier,
right?
You know, you just become
more incentive.
You got to keep winning though to be Jason Mercier.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that him and Vanessa really had on lockdown.
Right,
they kept winning.
It was so sharp too of PokerStars, right? They like saw something in them, right, and snatched them up, and then they just kept winning.
Well, the easiest two things to see were Jason would play everything, and Vanessa was one of the most like electrifying characters that you could come across. She was so animated, so aggressive,
right?
So emotional,
like everything you want in somebody on TV.
She was legitimately like a very sane and rational Mike Mattisau.
I wonder what she would think about that. Well, that and send it to her, see what she thinks.
Well, what I mean is that like she was very emotional on the felt. Maybe comparing her, maybe comparing her to Scott Seaver is a little bit more accurate than Mikey.
There you go.
Because like, you know, they just really let their emotions out on the felt, and that's fine. But it translated into her play.
Yeah.
She was so fucking aggro, and like so much of that was just born out of wanting to win every pot, or being spiteful over having lost a pot for somebody else. There's
this one. I know this one.
Man, I feel for her here. It's just like,
yeah, I'm sure you can empathize.
When they're all in, she looks. I can't remember if Antonio's on this. I'm pretty sure it's Antonio. She looks at him and she goes, yeah, there he is. She just looks at him after they get all in. She goes, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Vanessa calls.
Okay, I feel like we
No.
He's got aces.
Yeah, I know.
I'll bet you
How
he's got
many do you
aces.
want to run it?
He has aces.
It's like 100%.
Of course. She has ace, king, or kings.
Nope, I have nothing.
I've done this.
I have nothing.
Twice? Let's do 3 times.
Sure.
I have done this with the bounty hand before.
Oh boy.
How much do you have?
Oh yeah, it's so great.
I know.
The look at Antonio of like, oh, why do I keep doing this to myself? Like
He is aces.
definitely.
He for sure. I know.
Obviously, she is ace, king, or kings. Like
It's so
no, I
relatable,
fucking don't.
though. I think that's also like what made her so star worthy. Is like people relate to those feelings.
Yeah, and also back then, like you didn't have any metrics to measure against, so like this was revered. She was just so courageous.
Yeah.
By a strategic standpoint, like I wouldn't have the guts to fucking put it 160K with jack high.
Right.
That kind of thing. And that moxie was like very revered by the
It wasn't seen
audience.
as like dumpster fire punting.
Yeah. Now it's like
this is losing 3 big blinds. It was like, wow, that's sick.
right. Like now it's just a matter of like if you give any amount of action, there are just some nerds in the basement crunching the numbers. It will be like, you fucking
this
stink.
Is an absolute torch.
Right.
Sven over there.
Yeah, fucking Sven, man. God, nobody wants you at the PCA, Sven. Okay? Like, fucking Sven, go home, bro.
He's so fucking smug.
God, this smug son of a bitch.
He's so good, though. He's so fucking
good. God, he's
doesn't miss a spot.
Yeah.
This guy's never missed a spot in his fucking life.
I'm
the machine. Anyway, getting back to these tours. So they had a lot of success in the PCA. They ran a 25K, which, as far as I know, that might have been one of the first high rollers. I don't know that there were many, if any, 25Ks prior to that. And that might have been like one of the big marketing tools that they utilized.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait, there's 25Ks back then?
Yeah, I didn't.
Might have been the first one.
I mean, we weren't that far removed from the $1 million buy-in. I think 2012 was the first big one for one drop. So that was like immediately after Black Friday. But I really don't remember there being high rollers prior to this 25K at PCA. William Reynolds won that. You guys might remember him as a former Ultimate Poker pro with one Dan O'Brien, Phil Collins, Brent Hanks.
Right.
They signed quite the roster.
Wow.
Will?
Wait, so your friends were signed and you weren't?
Correct.
Did you feel salty a little bit?
I was so broke at the time.
You were like, where's mine?
Well, actually, I didn't even have time to be upset because I think Ultimate launched in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And
don't forget Mr. Somerville.
Oh yeah, Jay Carver was. Wait, can you find the dates and let me know if Ultimate launched? Because it might have been 2015. And if it launched in 2015, then I just didn't give a fuck because I was crushing.
Oh, you're playing catch.
So I was either dead broke and understood why they didn't want to be involved with me, or I was absolutely mopping.
It was definitely out before 2015.
I think so too.
Well, definitely.
So you were broke. And you were
I'm
like,
less
well,
positive.
2013, April 30th, 2013.
Okay, I was still broke April 30th,
All right.
2013. I was on the come up. I had like 12K to my name at that point, but yeah, I had a massive summer. That summer I won like 500K, and then I was playing the big game by October. And I think at that point, Ultimate was already on decline. They probably weren't looking to sign anybody else.
About how to have a summer like that?
Yeah, ask Matt Hunt. He has to be the resident MTT. Okay. I can't replicate it. Oh. So Will won that one for 576K, got 84 entrants. Pretty fucking big for a 2010 high roller. Yeah. I mean, that's strong. That would be a good field today, to be quite honest. Then they came to the Venetian shortly thereafter, and this is where Uncle Dan.
This was the best meme ever. Whenever someone was hopeful about the series, we would just send in the group chat like a picture of Dan O'Brien looking serious. Like, Oh, you're so dumb. You really think that you can have the dream?
It's so good.
Poor
I'm going to
son
win a
of bitch.
bracelet. We just send a bunch of pictures of Dan O'Brien.
With that look on his
Yeah.
face.
You gotta love it. Okay, so then they came to the Venetian thereafter, which was my first experience. Getting to play some NAPTs. They had a 5K there, which was won by Cheese, the big Cheese, Tom Marchese. This was like right at the height of his glory days in 2010. He would then go on to be a high roller himself. Now I think he's in the sports card industry. I'm not even sure. He's just mashing.
Cheese.
He has all the fucking money.
He's just got all the cheese.
Yeah, he has all the money. But that got 872 runners for a 5K. So it's funny, going back through this, I thought that the NAPT was like, I thought all the main events were 5Ks. I didn't realize that they were attached to PCA.
Mm-hmm.
So what they actually were the main events were 5Ks in America. At PCA, they were 10Ks, but then they also ran these 25Ks alongside of them. So Cheese won the 5K main for $827,000, which is insane. And then Ashton Griffin won the 25K high roller for $560K, which this confuses me a little bit. So they got 49 runners, which is 35 fewer than they got in the Bahamas, but he only won 16,000 less for first. Bit more top heavy.
Yeah.
At that Venetian, they sounded like they were paying out about 30% there at the top.
Yay.
You know, a lot of money up there for first place.
Well, let's see a big number.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see
that's
it.
true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we believed in that back then.
Yeah.
I know I certainly didn't.
Oh. Do you now?
I'm not so sure. I go back and forth. So the interesting story that I remembered off of Ashton, I don't know if you guys recall this, but he had one hell of a prop bet 1 year after winning this event. So sometime early spring, 2011, he woke up after a night of drinking, completely hungover.
This story's so good.
Completely hungover and barely having slept the night before, and decided that he wanted to do a prop bet where he ran 70 miles in under 24 hours.
God.
Yes.
Why would he do that?
He was a college wrestler, so he was in good shape, but it sounds like he just wanted to punish himself.
Right.
But it also sounds like he believed that he could do it. So
But wrestling, like, you don't do a ton of running
Oh, yeah,
for
you
that,
do.
right?
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
for
Your
stamina?
cardio has to
Hell
be insane.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
That might be one of the sports you do the most running.
Yeah.
in.
Really?
You literally go run stairs with like
Yep.
your buddy on
Okay.
your back. Yeah.
I guess you need the endurance and the stamina.
the wrestlers in college were in the sickest shape. So Prescal was like where the beach and stuff was in Erie, PA. I say beach loosely. I mean, it was a fucking
Yeah, it was
lake.
like beach.
Well, it's a great lake,
Right.
Melissa.
Yeah. Nuclear waste.
Great Lake, Great Beak.
But
Beach.
to get to Prescal, I think was like 6 miles off campus, and then it was a 13-mile loop, and they would have to run that once a week from campus around the loop and back.
Basically,
so
half
basically,
marathon.
That's pretty
I
terrible.
mean, no, almost a marathon. 6 miles there, 13-mile loop, 6 miles back.
13 miles, right?
It's 25 miles total.
Oh.
6 miles there.
So
so
over
a
a
13
marathon
marathon.
a week?
Yeah, basically.
Don't like
They
that.
were just getting in, you know?
No, thank you.
A lot of
Yeah,
trust,
gotta-
too.
gotta-
Just, all right, boys, you got 4 hours. Let me know when you're back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like it would show up, you know, if they cheated a lot. Like
Not in 2003. Oh, you mean just like...
yeah, it would show in their
yeah,
endurance.
yeah. Well, the people who would cheat, you would think would be the ones that were drawing dead anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, they had a very army-like regiment. Anyway, he decides that he's going to do this, and he's going to lay 3-1. He thinks he is a huge favorite to do it.
Wow.
Laid 3-1.
How many people snap that up?
So his roommate actually is who took the bet. Now this is where it gets wild. He didn't bet 10K to win 3. He didn't bet 50K or 60K to win 20. No. He bet 300,000. Or sorry, he bet 900,000 to win 300K.
Oh my god, that's sick.
What a sicko.
His blog has since been taken down because it was a part of Card Runners, but I remember reading it at the time, and I think he said he had like 90% of his net worth up at risk. His roommate snapped it up thinking it's a good bet because he thought that he would get hurt at least a third of the time.
Okay. Well, it does sort of seem like a plus EV bet anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those odds are kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy.
But
But
Scary.
it sounds like this guy probably ran 70 miles in a day before.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that like ultra marathon running is
A thing.
like such a thing, this bet isn't like that crazy.
Those odds just don't seem great.
Like most people will run. I'm pretty sure the average time for an ultra marathon is like 19 hours, and that's 100 miles.
It's easier on a treadmill as well, right?
Yeah, he was running on a treadmill.
Oh.
Which does make it somewhat easier, but no walking counted. And
no walking
counted.
Oh God,
which is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like I remember there being a lot of conversation around this at the time when it happened. There was like some moral dilemma based off the fact that like he was betting a friend, and like essentially his friend was rooting not only for him to get hurt, but for him to be financially ruined by this.
Right.
So you know,
some friend.
It was wild times. Wild times back in the early 2010s.
Too much money.
Way too fucking much money.
Yes.
And you know what? It didn't really dawn on me post Black Friday. There was no part where I was like thinking about how relatable the eras were again until the crypto boom in fucking 2020, like just post COVID, or maybe it was 2021. Whenever Bitcoin got to 60K.
Yeah, that was 2020.
I was like looking around, and you know, there's 100, 200 popping off on WSOP every day. Like there's just money flowing everywhere. I was like, oh God damn it!
Shit.
Everyone's got way too much money again.
Gambling with it.
You know what? Those times are on its way.
Maybe.
You see that Bitcoin price?
34,000.
You see that Bitcoin price? It's going.
Visa Metaverse Part 2.
God, let me just find a real Visa Metaverse one time.
ETF incoming.
Yeah.
Visa Metaverse ETF.
Yeah, I think Conrad dealing poker out loud, bragging about Visa Metaverse was probably a top signal.
I wasn't bragging. I said something's wrong here. I literally said there's no
it's
way.
only going up. There's no selling.
I literally said there's no way this is happening. If it is, I'm rich. If not, I'm getting
There's
fucking
so many
dusted.
honeypots.
Up only.
Those are the people that made
Guys,
it the most.
for you out there listening at home, if you're wondering where all the money in the tab went, it's in the Visa Metaverse.
Visa Metaverse coin.
He's
yeah.
not lying.
Well, Mama Joe and I have a coin that's going to come out next bull run. It's Matt Berkey, Enu, Rocket, come.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Everyone get in early.
I was like,
get in
can I get
now.
it?
We're
pre-sale?
taking,
Sure, pre-sale?
we'll take some pre-sale, some angel investors. We got a lot. We're going to work on a lot.
I'm excited for your endeavor.
Yeah.
So Ashton won this bet.
What?
He had 45 minutes to spare.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
knew the bet, but I
other
didn't
guy
know you
was
remembered.
wrecked.
Well, less wrecked than Ashton would have been.
Yeah, he bet.
The other guy
900.
didn't have his net worth on the line.
Oh, wait. Who won? The guy who bet
Ashton.
900 or the guy
Ashton risked 900 to win 3.
and he won?
He won.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
He
thought
won
he lost.
300,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was like one of the most epic prop bets at the time. There were so many fun prop bets back in that day that like just don't happen anymore because now Sven's fucking.
People are too sharp now.
Well, it's because fucking Sven.
I know.
He's
All
looking over your
Sven's fault.
shoulder and he's like, "Are you really gonna take the worst
people
of this
will be
one?"
like, yeah, people will be like talking about some fun prop bet, and Sven comes in like, this is actually very minus EV, and here's a thread why.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
Like, all right, well,
and
this is
then
no fun
all the
anymore.
Twitterverse starts to fucking bark back and
Yeah,
forth. You
and
know,
then the bet never
the
happens.
closest thing we get is a guy like Airball calling me a scammer
Yeah.
and then giving me $1 million.
That was the closest thing, and you happened to. I don't
Pretty
know.
good.
You stepped in
Pretty
shit
good,
there.
Berk.
That, I can't believe that guy gave you $1 million.
I was so lucky.
That
God.
is so lucky.
Thanks, Doug. I got you. Yeah, but no, there were a lot of cool prop bets. Eric Lindgren, I think he golfed 4 rounds in a day and had to shoot under 100 for 4 rounds for like $365,000, and said he wouldn't do it again. That's how goddamn rich he was.
Wow.
He wouldn't do it again. He didn't run 70 miles. He just golfed 72 holes.
Yeah.
That's it.
People do that all the time.
All the time. 100's not that impressive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think I could shoot under 100.
I hope
but
those
like,
times I hope I get to experience something.
there was somebody
similar.
else. I can't remember who it was, but somebody else had to stay in the ocean. I think it was chest deep water for 24 hours.
I thought
seems
that was
like
a
it would be,
pool.
like, melt your
That
skin
bet
off.
happened also.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this was Elke for some reason, but I'm not sure. But whoever it
With the
was,
waves and stuff?
yeah, whoever it was ended up quitting. I think it was too
I think
cold.
that's bad for your skin.
I don't really think that's a concern with hundreds
But
of
I
thousands
think your
on the
skin
line.
might start like melting off.
Oh, perhaps. Maybe it's a little exfoliation, you know?
Yeah.
A little saltwater
Sure.
scrub.
A little exfoliation,
At least it's
a little
salt water, so it'll,
hypothermia.
like,
Yeah, a little hypothermia.
sanitize it,
Yeah, no
right?
big deal. But yeah, like these bets were never for like 10K. They were for infinite amounts of money.
So much.
The last big prop bet that I remember happening were Antonio not being allowed to walk at PCA.
The lunging?
He had the lunge everywhere.
That's pretty brutal.
Wait, no. Do you know the end of this story?
No.
Okay, so
my
he had the
God.
lunge everywhere.
So great.
He had the lunge everywhere, and it was for a large sum, like a couple 100,000. I think he bet Perkins.
Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
is he allowed on property ever again?
I don't think
Why
so.
he was?
Yeah,
they
he's
banned him
banned.
for lunging.
No,
You'll see.
listen to this.
With four
he
tables
did
left in the
something.
main event. 4 tables
That's
left.
so fucked up.
Okay, 4 tables left. So
It's not worth it. How
first
much
pla-
was he getting bet?
it was a lot.
Okay.
It was like $500,000 or
Okay.
something like that. But first place is like 1.5 million.
Right.
Antonio is like top in the chip counts with 4 tables left. He can't take it anymore, and he pisses in a bottle under the table. They DQ him.
You should have worn a diaper. You
Yeah.
can't get DQ'd
Yeah.
for peeing in a diaper.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Just have
So,
someone bring you a diaper.
but
and
he
pay
did
them.
win the bet. He got DQ'd, lunged his way back up to his room, and called it a day.
Wait, so he got disqualified from the event?
Yeah,
Peeing in a bottle.
for being in a bottle.
Is it worth it then?
I mean,
Your top. I mean, you get
it's probably close.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had $500,000
the
in
diaper
EV.
was the way to go.
Diaper
there.
was for sure the play.
Yeah. No, I think it. Well, because you don't know if you're 100% going to get DQ'd.
Well, that's
I
true.
mean,
Right?
You
Yeah,
are
maybe you get a-
you're
it's some
Antonio.
decent
You
Maybe
know?
maybe you get away. Maybe
Yeah,
you
take
get
your dick out at the table.
Maybe he's under the table. Maybe then nobody
It's
sees.
you're still at the table.
This is the EPT, goddammit.
Yeah, have some class, man. Have some couth.
And then the other most recent one,
Why
I
didn't he
think.
just lunge?
Dude, Antonio's taking some bad
He's been
beats.
lunging for 3 days.
His fucking
That
glutes
lactic
were
acid
probably,
was
like-
just built
Yeah.
up.
He also
to
got
the brim.
He also got depantsed at it was called the something 8. They had some
The
Alpha 8.
Alpha 8.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but he's doing an interview with some hot reporter or something, and I don't know if it's Rast or someone else comes up behind him and just pulls his shorts
Undies
down.
Come
too?
on, bro.
And you can see the girl that's interviewing him kind of looks down and is like,
Come
it was
on,
bad.
bro.
Was
Yeah,
it his
was
undies
really good.
too?
It's all right. He did well. He married Belize Bob's
if
daughter.
it's no undies, it's okay.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. But it sounds like it was undies too.
Sounds like it was
Yeah.
undies.
Yeah, little turtle head poking through.
Oh, turtle head from his butthole.
No, little pee-pee.
Oh Lord, I think I found it.
Oh, yes. Good job, bro.
Wow, Guapo's
Good
fast.
job.
Jeez.
Oh boy.
Poor Lynn. Poor Lynn.
He literally had like
Look at Ollie.
Oh man, that's so
See,
good.
that's funny. Bring back that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Poker
so
used to be
hilarious.
so much fun,
Wow, those
man.
are some Landon level shorts.
I don't think those are shorts. Those
Those
are definitely
undies.
just boxers.
Wow.
Man, poker used to be so much fun when everybody was just fucking
Everyone
degenerate.
was, now people are dads and stuff.
Yeah,
and like
everyone
there's
was
no one
so
young anymore.
degen back then.
Because everyone was young.
Yeah, that's true. Well, everyone's young now too, but
just
the
a lot
difference
more
is
money.
the
The
youth.
young are Sven.
Yeah, they're all Sven, and they're fucking
Landon.
insufferable.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all
Landon's-
so goddamn insufferable.
take
Landon's
themselves
not
very
going to pull anybody's
seriously.
pants down.
No, and if we pull his down, he might cry.
He would not be happy.
What do you mean?
He would throw a spitting tantrum.
Yeah, he would.
Oh,
start-
man.
Why slow mo?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's
Oh man, that's incredible.
Lynn's face is amazing.
That's absolutely incredible.
Oh man.
So anyway, the NAPT.
Yeah.
They came to the Venetian. The first event was won by Cheese. Mercier, Stars Pro at this point, who also had a cardboard cutout of himself at the Venetian, which I remember posing in front of because trolling Jay was one of my hobbies. He wins the 25K for, let's see, how much was it?
450,000, I believe.
Oh, no, sorry. Ashton won the 25K. He won his at Mohegan Sun.
That's right.
Even smaller field, only 35 people. Kind of understood. Mohegan Sun was like a new upstart room at that point in 2010.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why, because Venetia was kind of new and upstart as well. So the Deep Stack series probably started around 2008, and they were only running like once or twice a year at that point. By 2010, I think they were running like quarterly, and they brought in the NAPT as their first major tour.
Right.
Mohegan Sun, I believe at this point, WPT was still licensed by Foxwoods.
So they wanted to rival
They wanted
it.
to compete. Yeah. They brought in the NAPT. Selbst won the main event for $750K. And then Jay won the high roller for $475K.
Yeah.
Huge win for Stars here.
Yeah.
Your two major pros, the faces of the kind of like next generation coming up. They also had Ike that they signed. I completely forgot about that. They literally
That's when
had
he was Hollywood Ike.
Yes, Hollywood Haxton, baby. His
hair blowing in
his
the wind.
PCA final table was incredible. Our friend actually
John
got fourth
Ford
in
was
that.
there. Yeah.
John Ford.
Good old John.
Yeah,
Wait, the devil?
that's who gave. Well, that's who claims Lamana gave himself the nickname the Devil.
Okay.
Devil.
He was
Call me
the
the
ultimate
devil.
troll before there were trolls.
I hated John.
No, John was great.
Look at
No,
this
he was
hair.
great, but
He's great.
I hated him because he was the kind of guy who always had to have the best of it.
Yeah.
He
I hate
he
that.
was Sven. He was our version of Sven.
Yeah.
I hate when they have to have the
was
best
sharp.
of it.
Yeah.
You gotta have
Nothing
the worst of
drives
it
me-
sometimes.
Nothing drives me
kinda fun.
fucking more insane than
Be
somebody
the
has to.
underdog sometimes.
People don't like
It's
to
okay.
gamble. People want to be sharps.
I really think I hate it the most because I'm so willing to take the less.
Yeah.
Me too.
And like,
whatever.
I'm always getting absolutely fucking torched because I'm so willing. Like, all right, whatever.
Well, I think that there is. I think there's a reason to hate people who have to be sharp and refuse to even like do
Give a
anything.
little, yeah.
Do anything on evens. And then
Yeah.
I also think that there's pause for concern if you're the rube.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
You don't really always want to be the rube.
Yeah,
Conrad.
yeah.
And I'll always lose. But,
As
you
you're
know.
about to find out in the slap bet, there is no mercy
Oh,
for the
whatever.
for the rube.
I fucking
Is
hope.
that how's that
Pickett
going? Is
breaks
it
his
leading
ankle.
towards
I'm a big favorite.
Conrad getting slapped?
He's a
Big
huge
favorite.
favorite. He's like
Right.
90-10.
I posted
practice.
I posted their home schedule remaining. I think they have
Should we
5
get one of
games at
those
home.
ballistic dummies that you can practice on?
Oh my
like,
god, that's a great idea, Melissa. It will really strengthen my paw.
put a wig on it and just start slapping it regularly.
think-
Berkey's only been doing arms for the last.
You know the good part about this is whenever somebody talks shit about their side of the bet,
yeah.
They lose.
Keep trying to will that one
so
home, buddy.
my 10%
Manifesting.
just went to 13.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think the Steelers have 6 home games left, and only the Browns and Jaguars have winning records.
Yeah, it's down bad.
No.
Oh, Bengals.
And the rate. Oh no, they
Down
don't.
bad.
Oh, they
I
play.
mean,
We played the Ravens at
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
I mean, the Bengals, their record
We played the
might
Browns
be
at
winning,
home,
but
too.
it's not winning.
Oh yeah, so not the Browns.
Yeah.
So just the Bengals and Jags. They play whatever. We don't need to get into it, but they
Yeah,
play
yeah.
a lot of really bad
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
at home.
Birds.
That
It
really-
looks good, cuz. It
really
looks real
does.
good.
It's good.
And then they have like 2 bad teams on the road in the Colts and Seattle. Seattle's okay.
I was gonna say,
Whatever.
where do you get off calling a 5-2 team bad? Or what are they? 5-2, right?
Bro,
Yep.
relax a little, okay?
My God.
Doesn't
Let's
sound
let's
amazing.
relax a little. They're not great. So what I did learn in this NAPT history is that they actually ran an event at the bicycle,
Yes,
which I was
they
very
did.
unaware of.
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about the bike back then other than live at the bike, RIP. And the winner of that event was the one and only Joe Tehan,
Mhm.
self-proclaimed GOAT.
All right.
He plays in the Bellagio game with us. We're only allowed to refer to him as the GOAT.
I like that.
Call
I like
me the
I
goat.
like the confidence.
He's actually one of my favorite human beings on the fucking planet. I don't think he's memeing when he wants to be called the GOAT, but also a little part of me thinks he deserves to be called the GOAT. This man does some shit that you've just never seen before.
He has goat-like tendencies.
Yes, it's
Well,
GOAT
that it
worthy.
sounds deserved.
It's very GOAT worthy. And honestly, like if you look through his career, it's just like bookended with these massive scores. Like
Huge.
he just wins Mandalay Bay WPT
$1 million.
Sounds
which
like
I
Bin Wang.
yeah. I think they ran that event once.
Mm-hmm.
He just wins it for like 1.2 or something like that, or 1.1, something
This
along those lines.
bicycle NAPT event.
ran
got
it once.
Won it.
Ship it, $700K, no big deal.
He's got 450. He's got 400.
Looks like a goat to me.
Listen, he's got 450,000 in live scores. He only has 4 live scores.
4.5 million.
450,000.
4.5 million. Yeah.
That fucking mustache is incredible. Just,
Only a goat can rock
that's
the
right.
mustache.
That's right. I'm really mad at that Guapo did not queue up the screaming goat. But I'll let it slide. I mean, it's not like I put it in there for a reason. But, we'll let
Lord,
it slide.
here we go.
That's fine.
It's coming, it's
whatever.
I went 9 for 10 today. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and he pulled up
Jeez.
I'm
Sven.
just
Great
the
timing.
worst.
The Sven was nice.
No, it's
He
fine. I
pulled up
ruined the show.
Selbst hand.
All right.
We'll call back
Fine,
Sven
guys,
at
I'll go
least
fuck
3 more
myself.
times. So Selbst then goes back to Mohegan Sun, wins the final NAPT event to be the 2-time champion.
The only 2-time champion.
Yeah, but honestly,
history.
maybe we should have known at this point that Black Friday was coming. The Mohegan Sun main event the year prior, 716 entrants for a 5K. The Mohegan Sun of the final NAPT, 367 entrants.
Uh-oh.
That is
Red
pretty.
flag, red flag.
Yikes.
What is going on?
No, but how do people know?
I don't know, because PCA was bigger. PCA, 1,560 entrants.
That's international.
Galen
too,
Hall
right?
wins it for $2.3 million. But yeah, I think at that point, I'm not really sure. Honestly, it might have partly had something to do with Mohegan Sun. Like,
Okay.
Connecticut wasn't the easiest place to get to.
Yeah.
Foxwoods was dying off as well. A lot of the action, I think, was moving toward the Brigada at that point. They had opened their new poker room maybe a year prior. 2
Was
years
Taj
prior.
Mahal around then?
Taj was still in existence.
Yeah. My dad used to always go there.
Yeah, we used to sleep in the garage mahal.
Okay.
You know, it was way cheaper to pay for a parking pass than it was a hotel room.
Right.
We'd
People
just
do that.
Yeah, we'd just hop right in the back seat, fucking pour our sleeping bags up and call it a night.
It's either a $30 room
These
with a
fucking
vibrating,
kids.
These would have been
vibrating
great
bed
vlogs,
or
you
the garage
guys.
mahal.
These fucking kids have no idea what it was like grinding.
They don't know the grind. The
Fucking
grind on top
Landon-
of the grind.
Fucking Landon and his, I would just get a backer and I would play 2 cent 4 cent online for 6 months.
You absolute cunt.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I was spending $30 in garage prices to sleep in Lamana's old ass busted Civic in the middle of the garage
I
mall.
never
Not
had
even
a
an
Civic
SUV.
back then. I had
No. Yeah, it
think
was
it was-
worse. It was a Cavalier.
it might have been a cab.
How are you
No,
guys
it was
sleeping?
it was a Grand Am.
Oh,
Pontiac.
that's right.
Pontiac Grand Am red.
Yeah, that's right.
Tape deck in it.
He sounded proud of that. That was his pride and
He
joy.
was very proud of it. Oh man, I didn't even have a fucking. I think I went there with like $800 and it was like every penny. I have scars on my arm from my first fucking bankroll.
See them.
These fucking
Plasma donation.
I would just get a coach who knows everything and I get him to back me coaching for profits, and we would play 5 cent, 10 cent until I graduated up to 50 cent a dollar, and then maybe I'd go on my own if my mommy approved. Motherfucker, I got scars on my arm from getting my first bankroll.
Would you donate plasma?
No, there was
Donated skin.
I literally donated a pound of flesh.
Yeah.
Erie, where I went to school again, and they were a part of LECOM, which was a med school. So we would get
A pound?
it's
Okay, you're hyperbole.
no, it's
A pound
actually
of flesh is like it's a saying.
Oh, it's
yeah,
a saying.
it's,
Okay.
what are
I'm not really idiom fluent.
idiom.
so-
That's what I was
yeah.
looking for. It's an idiom. But LECOM was a part of our or like
You gave a pound?
A pound.
anyway, med students would do studies, and they were developing a new cream for diabetics to put on foot ulcers.
Okay.
So they needed to test it against more conventional creams like Neosporin.
Okay.
So what they did is they took this thing. It looked like the best way I can describe it is it looked like an old number 2 pencil where you took the eraser out and left the metal thing on. And they took that and they just jab you with it and twist and twist and twist until the eraser's length of skin
Oof.
and
Yeah, they want to get all the
flesh,
layers.
comes out. So you're just sitting there with these
But you're
open
numb.
wounds. No,
No?
local anesthesia.
Oh, okay, but you're numbed locally.
I mean, they rub fucking cream on it.
Oh, they didn't give you a shot.
No.
Okay, that's pretty rough.
Didn't feel good.
Yeah. It's like, that only applies to the top layer.
Yeah, it felt real fucking bad. So they did that 4 times, 2 on each arm, and then they tested it like no medicine, their medicine every other day, and then Neosporin.
You're just like, whatever, give me my money.
Yeah, so it was like a control, their medicine every other day, and then Neosporin. And then they said, so that was for $800.
Wow.
I got $200 a hole.
It's not great.
It's not great, but it was more money than I had ever seen in my life at that point.
Okay.
So I was like a junior in college.
Well, adjusted for inflation, it might not be.
Yeah,
so
it might be
bad.
like 1,500.
Yeah.
So then they go, we'll give you another 500 if you come back in 2 days and let us
play with the holes.
Jesus.
What's it called? Whenever let us graph the holes again.
Oh.
And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, how bad is it? They're like, well, all your nerves are gone, so you won't really feel it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess you might as well.
Yeah. So I come back and they can't put a local anesthesia on at this time. So now they do give me a shot.
Okay.
They go, no, the shot's gonna feel like a bee sting. And I'm like, okay. They stuck me with that needle, and I've never been bitten by a snake. But I have to tell you, not a bee sting. I don't know what snake bite feels like, but I can only imagine it felt like them shoving that needle in open fucking wounds on my arm.
Yeah, that doesn't sound.
It was so painful.
Wow, imagine the vlogs that you guys could have done if you were just a little older.
It was during preseason for spring ball, so it was like January. So I'm pitching every day, getting ready for spring training.
Just getting dirt all in the holes.
No, it wasn't anything like that. They were wrapped,
Okay.
but I would literally be like throwing my bullpen with blood just running down my hand.
They're like, what happened?
You couldn't
I
get
needed
that
a bankroll.
handle. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I need to put it on. Fired it right on the fucking party poker. Ran it up. But that's what it was like.
Right.
These guys don't fucking understand, man. Never been at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see I relate to that.
I've never not been at risk. Fuck.
Well, maybe you could sell some pounds of
Plasma.
flesh.
Are you saying Sven doesn't have any holes in his arm?
Sven has no holes.
Sven has a sauna.
Sven has a sob that he's been driving around since he was 16 because mommy and daddy gave it to him, and they wanted him to understand the importance of $1. So,
No, fucking look how smug he is.
so it's obviously diesel instead of gas.
He literally has a sob in Discord, and that's all.
This smug cunt. They're like, oh yeah, okay, Sven, we'll give you the car, but if you want to put gas in it, you need to figure out how to make your own ethanol. He's like, okay, yes, mommy, I'll go on the internet right now.
Chemistry is very learnable.
Chemistry is right over here. I look in the book and it says we get some corn and then we ferment the corn. Like, fuck you, Sven.
Yeah, fuck you,
Shout out to
Sven.
our boy,
Who's our
Sven.
boy?
motherfucking Dan Smith. He has ended Sven. He ended up winning the 300K Invitational.
Wow.
Let's Pickleball fucking Dan wins it for
Cowboy
$3.8
Dan.
million.
That's it. That's his first Triton win. They were just talking about how he has so many scores and no wins.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations.
sick.
Congratulations, Dan.
Congrats, Pickleball
We'd
Dan.
love to see a professional pickleball player out there in the poker streets actually doing something, making a little noise. You know?
He's got to make moves. He's got to bring people into poker, you know?
That's true. That's true. Well, it sounds like according to the music, our time is up. So I guess I'll speed through this last little part. NAPT is going to return to the resorts world November 4th through the 12th. There is a very chunky schedule here for you guys all to enjoy. Everything from 1Ks up to 10K high rollers. There's a lot of mixed events, actually. There's a 5K PLO, a 5K 8-game mix, as well as a 550 version of each of those as well. There's a 5,300 500K guarantee high roller, and the main event is going to be a 1,650 1.5 million guarantee, which we are going to be giving away a seat for.
We're in there. And we're in there.
That giveaway is going to be happening tomorrow. All you have to do is be a subscriber or a member. We're going to pick one lucky winner out of the chat. As always, the members get 10% or 10x luck. Tune in live tomorrow. We'll be giving away the seats somewhere around mid-show.
Is it just a raffle or is it a call-in?
We're literally just plucking somebody out of the chat,
wow.
and you are the winner, sir.
I love giving away seats. It's
That's
fun.
right. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. We're going to be back again noon Pacific. Matt Hunt will be joining us tomorrow for Strat Chat, so be prepared for that. We're going to actually go over a few of the fun hands that were played in the NAPT. A lot of Faraz hands.
Oh yeah.
My guy just got after it. The toilet O. That's going to do it for us today. We'll see you guys again tomorrow, noon Pacific. See you then.
Later,
Peace.
Slut.